It's already about the RPG element, role playing of the whole thing. We wanted the builds and the cyberware to be more immersive, for the players to represent themselves more through those. The builds are more distinctive. Your choice when it comes to cyberware is also much bigger and richer. So it was really all about just giving this freedom of actually being able who I want to be in this world while having this glorious adventure.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I can't wait to see what our players think of the update. So let's just start with what Alicia already mentioned. So let's go to airdrops. What can we
Nikt
say
się
about
nie
it?
spodziewał diabła o tej porze. Nikt.
Super awesome. We love airdrops. And basically, airdrops are a new open world activity, and that happens only in the Dogtown area. You will not see this on a minimap, but it's quite hard to miss. You will hear the AV dropping the big package on the Dogtown area.
Flying over the district.
Exactly, and there are flares that will guide you where they are. Getting to airdrop itself, it's a little bit challenging. We wanted for it to be not only the challenge in terms of the encounter that happens there, but also sometimes it is quite challenging to get to the location itself.
Or even how to approach it, from which side.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, it's also, you can maybe try stealth approach.
Not auto.
But
Full
as I
HD.
mentioned, the combat is also a little
Bitch.
bit challenging there. Sometimes even quite challenging, I would say. Because the loot there is also something that we wanted to be worth it. The airdrops, important thing to mention, they are an endless loop of combat and loot, so you can do them forever, but that does not necessarily mean that the combat is the same for every encounter. It very much differs, so you can try it out, play around, try different airdrops and see how they change. Because yeah, as I mentioned, they are awesome, right? So
yeah, we have like multiple spots. Those spots have like different versions of those encounters, and what's also really cool is that as you will be like doing them, you will be leveling up, and your possibilities, your abilities to approach them will also be different. So even when you come back to get the airdrop, how you tackle it can be different depending on how your playstyle has evolved.
All right, sounds good. And you mentioned that it will be challenging, so I assume there are like various guards of this airdrop of the loot, right? Can we maybe talk about the changes to the AI and to the combat enhancement that we did in 2.0?
For 2.0, we focused in terms of AI itself. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We focused rather on building on top of what we already had. But that being said, we did quite a lot. We especially in stealth. So for example, if you try to approach this airdrop in stealth, as we mentioned, you probably would notice that having a silenced pistol, the enemy you could probably see a situation in which the enemy does not hear the gunshot because of the silenced weapon, but the fact that they will see the bullet will start, they will start investigating, hey, there's a bullet here, like probably guys, we are in danger, maybe let's start investigating where this bullet came from. And their search behaviors also changed. They will be a little bit more challenging in this manner. So, with our changes to stealth, we also wanted for AI to maybe catch up a little bit.
They can extrapolate the bullet trajectory and like know where the bullet is coming from to like influence their search behavior and patterns. It's just more realistic and believable.
Exactly.
Smart.
Yes. In terms of AI, we also focused on changing some of the archetypes we already had in the game, but they are now so different that we could probably call them distinctive and different or new. So we focused really a lot on changing the netrunner in terms of AI, and that's an awesome change because that was one I was personally waiting for after playing the game. And from now on, netrunner will no longer only try to damage you. It's a huge change
Tak,
because
odpaliło
from
mi
now
grę.
on, we wanted
Cudownie.
the enemy netrunners to be
Nie.
like live inside of the Cyberpunk world, because netrunners in Cyberpunk use a little bit more smart personalities. So from 2.0 in AI Netrunner will try to, for example,
Ale jestem
upload a
nieogarem dzisiaj.
cyber malfunction on you, maybe weapon jam.
Restart optic.
Yes, blind hack, and in some critical situations they will also try to upload system collapse on you, which is yeah. If you don't,
This one you don't want to have.
yes, let's just say that. If you see system collapse, you should probably try to interrupt it because this stays the same. You can always interrupt it.
The coolest thing about this is not even that they became smarter. That too. But first and foremost, the way it changes how you approach combat at the very moment, you know, because as Rafał mentioned, we have numerous different quick hacks, which are very different, and they affect you differently depending on what type of playstyle you prefer and in what kind of situation you are. If you're vulnerable, you know, then restart optics is something different than when you're safe and hidden. So you have to be on your toes, think about your surroundings, and depending on the situation, make those small decisions like, should I go after the Netrunner or continue what I was doing and like take it, you know, straight on.
But
Exactly.
as a player, we can also defend against Netrunners,
Absolutely.
right? We can have our own eyes that it won't allow them to hack us.
Yes, yes. We even have like the cyberware that is negating
Alright.
those things from time to time on cooldown. You know, if you feel like it's a problem, then there's the cyberware to help you with this.
Yes, exactly. Plus, some things stay the same. For example, Netrunners will still try to use proxies as their bodies to hack you through them, so you don't always have to find the Netrunner themselves,
yeah.
but maybe try to find a proxy.
Yeah.
Other archetype that we work quite a lot in general is the elite archetype. From now on, you will see them on the battlefield a little bit more clearly because they have skulls, red skulls
Oh,
above
yeah.
their head. Yeah, that's
Very
something.
clear.
Yeah, exactly. Something we. in
Ciekawe,
general
czy
work
stare
on-
savey
on
będą działać,
quite a
bo jak
lot
nie, to
in
trochę słabo
2.0
będzie.
to make you really aware who you're fighting. So not only elites will have distinctive UI on them, other rare enemies, for example, will have a different health bar.
Two chunks.
Two chunks. Elites
Instead
will
of
have
one.
3 chunks. You will be able to spot it quite easily. And elites themselves are really revamped and kind of tougher versions of the enemy. They change quite a lot in terms of who should you target, how your playstyle actually is affected by them being on the battlefield, because probably you could try to play into more of a person that focuses on crowd control and damaging a lot of different enemies at one time. But the fact that elites are a thing that, you know, there's a singular enemy that is a little bit tougher makes you rethink your playstyle. Maybe I want to have something that will allow me to focus on a singular target as well. Or not,
Yeah.
like,
Or not.
it depends on you.
Yeah, like whether crowd control is your thing and you want to control the elite or you just want to burst it down, that's also a possibility. It really depends on how you play. Another thing regarding the AI itself is that it's much more, I would say, adaptable to how you play. It's gonna react differently if you're like going straight in and you're super hyper aggressive.
Jakoś tak średnio wierzę w to polepszenie tego AI przeciwników, ale okej.
Is a thing for you. They will also behave differently. So it's also like a big change to how you play and how you have to think about the encounters.
Exactly, and building even on top of what you said, you could probably hide behind some cover. They will notice that and try to maybe lure you out from it with grenades and stuff.
Yeah. They really got good at this.
Yeah, and now actually this is something that we also work quite a lot. The rule of thumb we took in regards of this is the higher difficulty you're playing on, the more player-like enemies will feel. So for example, on hard and very hard difficulty, they will have a little bit more verbs that are similar to what player can do. They will throw more grenades, they will even heal themselves more often. As I mentioned, the Netrunner will also adapt to your difficulty level. The higher it is, the quicker the hacks he applies will be, and stuff like this. We really focused on this, building this world that adapts. You know, if you are progressing your player, you have new abilities and new verbs to you. We wanted the difficulty to be kind of something for AI to maybe simulate something similar.
It's generally how we approach the game difficulties in general. We try to make it more about engagement and like how much stuff happens that player has to take into consideration and how important the effect of each of those action verbs is at current moment. Sure, there are like stats changes as well, as they have to be, but it's not about this. It's rather background, and on the forefront, it's about the composition of the NPCs and like their ability.
Mam w ogóle niegotową sesję, ale stwierdziłem, że fuck it, jakoś dam radę.
Almost all of them they have across all the
Więc no,
it's just they are much more
będzie zabawnie, ale właśnie muszę napisać graczom, że hej, słuchajcie,
So essentially,
improv.
NPCs, AI will adjust their behavior to, to see what we are doing. But what about, like, I would like us to go more into the stealth gameplay that we are introducing in 2.0.
So, as we mentioned, AI itself will behave differently in regards to your
Cicho
stealth approach.
bardzo, okej,
The stealth approach
Redzi.
from the player's perspective changed vastly.
Lepiej?
We added a lot of new verbs for the player. For example, the ninjutsu perk that will allow you to sprint while crouching, which probably would look
A little bit funny.
funny in third person. So
Ja wczoraj nie dałem rady zarywać nocy. Czemu miałbyś wczoraj zarywać noc?
But this allows for a lot of opportunities in stealth in general.
Bo tego trochę nie rozumiem.
Even it's a cool decision making.
To dopiero nie wyszło. 2.0 dopiero dzisiaj wychodzi za 45 minut.
Sorry, not stealth, sprint in crouch.
O 5:00.
So you have to think like when to do it, what your stamina is going to be, what will be like your
Jak wejdziesz sobie na Goga, mamy jeszcze 1.6.3. Ja osiągnąłem rano jakiś patch. To na pewno nie był 2.0. Nie wierzę, żeby to był 2.0. Też może, ale...
is the stealth netrunning loop we added. In general, we worked a lot on netrunner in the game from 2.0, but from now on, you will also have this
Mały, 7 giga. To bardzo mały.
To your stealth approach, there's a new system trace functionality that we added. Basically, it's like maybe role-playing a little bit, fighting netrunner with netrunner that someone tries
Na początku streama powiedzieli, patch 2.0 będzie miał premierę o 17, nie? Więc CST, o 5 CST, czyli o 17 u was, nie? No to było dziwne, jakbyś go gdzieś ściągnęło już.
There's this thing that you will have to progress towards not being spotted while hacking.
To był 1.6.3 z czerwca.
And think about, because not all quick hacks are traceable. And quick hacks are also traceable in like different on different level. Some are like extremely aggressive and
Ale generalnie widzę, że po pierwsze zrobili dużo reworku faktycznie balansu rozgrywki, co nie do końca jestem pewny, czy mi się podoba. Ja byłem fanem tego, że wszystko było OP w pewnym momencie i byłeś mega bogiem.
So a player right now has to think like, okay, what do I value more? Do I want to make this aggressive push, get out, take one or two enemies with me because it's a good opportunity. I cannot go around them using regular stealth, or whether it's better to stay low and basically use my potential to the fullest while being hidden, and only then release the full potential of the playstyle.
Yeah. Another thing in stealth we changed is in general in Phantom Liberty, being this espionage, we wanted to add a lot more to the gunplay in terms of stealth.
Więc tak, to jest w ogóle najlepszy moment, który wybrałem, tak? Dzisiaj premiera 2.0, za tydzień premiera Phantom Liberty, a ja kurwa prowadzę sesję, nie?
Have a tech silenced weapon or smart silenced weapon.
Tu też będzie budowane to, że to
so you can totally go for stealth gameplay type. In weapons in general, we work quite a lot, but sticking to stealth, we also added a super cool optical camo abilities in Relic Tree. So this one is obviously Phantom Liberty exclusive, but there's a perk that will, slow down time when you approach, like when you start being spotted using optical camo.
Yeah, or even get you out of combat once it already started. Which is cool, and we also have like a very cool cyberware that can do crazy stuff, but we cannot reveal it due to story. But
yes, this one, yeah.
Look for it because it's really amazing.
Okay, so we're super excited to check out the new stealth loop, especially with the spy thriller vibes of of expansion. It's gonna fit in right there. But while we were on the topic of AI, we actually have some questions from our community about that. So maybe let's jump into those. The first question is: has the density of NPCs and the intelligence of NPC AI improved
Jeżeli
throughout
Kaniża
the
rano
entire
robi
map,
hop,
or
hop,
is it
oczywiście
only
papierze
inside
zobaczymy
Dropdown?
jakich przeciwnikami, ale
Obviously
relikt
every
będzie dopiero w
change to
dodatku.
AI we made,
Dopiero
we made
będzie
for,
Phantom Liberty,
the whole
więc
night
trzeba by
city.
zrobić bez
Every,
Phantom Liberty, nie?
AI-controlled enemy will be revamped.
It's absolutely systemic.
Absolutely systemic. But that being said, obviously for Phantom Liberty, there are some custom encounters, for example, with bosses, and they are, as I call them, a little bit more custom. So for those to experience, you will have to have Phantom Liberty installed. But trust me, they're also super awesome. So I really encourage you to try them out because we also focused on bosses.
But those are, it's not like we have like some kind of Phantom Liberty specific systems for it. It's just the encounters that we have there use whatever we have slightly differently.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, there's Bargus, obviously, as
militaristic faction.
as faction that is only in Dogtown, although stuff like max stack will happen everywhere in the map. So, you know.
Okay. And the NPCs will be smarter throughout the entire Night City in general.
Yes.
Awesome. Another question that we have from our community is: are there going to be crazy drivers who don't work along normal driving AI?
Yeah, we'll have not only like, it's really hard to define, like what do you call crazy driver? Because for instance, in
I
Night
am
City,
crazy driver.
I'll show you my cam from my car. I'll show you exactly
Okay.
who are crazy drivers.
if you think like
To po
in
zmroku
Night
ci
City,
chlupie jak
in
pojebany,
this
to pomyśl
world,
co będzie jak
like
dojdziesz dalej.
extremely
Pod mrok to
visceral,
jeszcze jest
brutal,
nic.
Where those gunfights can
Wiesz?
happen on every street corner.
Jak tak się z
People
boku
are, like,
otworzyłem
scared,
i
they will
zastanawiam się,
try
jak
to
zrobić
drive
sobie
away,
build
they'll
na
try to
katanę.
avoid whatever obstacle is there. They will basically try to get away from danger as they drive, and it's gonna also happen like systemically on its own. And the cool thing about it is that often while they're like panicking and trying to get away from the
Ale
bullets,
jeszcze jest
they
ważne,
may
żebym
cause
zrobił
traffic accidents
ten.
themselves and increase on the havoc.
On
They
jest
can
na
even
inteligencji, tak?
drive
Jest
over the policemen, for
nie, to
instance,
jest kurde...
and be chased themselves. You will see gang members fighting themselves or running away from the police, and while doing this, they don't care. They basically, you know, they drive over civilians, they crash into other cars. Player can watch and just have fun observing what's happening, or take sides and help either the sides.
Yeah, exactly. And just one mention here that those car chases situations are fully
No,
systemic,
będzie
fully
dramat. Już się na to
AI-driven,
przygotuj.
nothing is scripted.
I to jest ten
And they also,
moment, w którym
happen
mówię, no
quite a lot
zajebistą
if
grę
you
zrobiliście,
focus
ale
on
może jednak warto
maybe just
byłoby
observe
trochę
and-
ściąć
or
te
take part in
powierzchnie,
them.
nie? Na wielkość ich.
But there are some cool moments with this as well. Like for example, I believe I watched your playthrough recently that there was a situation in which you caused a gang member to be chased by police, like on purpose, kind of, or I'm not sure.
I was trying to get away from the police, and it was in Dogtown, which is quite crowded, and I was trying to find a spot to lose the police.
Powiem ci,
And
na
it
razie
so
z tego co
happened that
gadają
the only
nic nie
corner I could
wychodzi.
find was like very close to a very small like gang. Nothing major. They were just, you know, hanging out, doing their daily stuff. And I was hiding them, and
Daily
basically they
gangs.
didn't have any beef with me, so they basically didn't care that I was around. But it turned out that when the police came to basically investigate the last place they saw me, it turned out that they didn't really like each other. They started fighting, and I basically would just walk away and, you know, enjoy the fight because they didn't care anymore because they were basically fighting for their lives. And that's how I got
Just
away.
fetched popcorn. And
Yeah,
started-
pretty much, pretty much. It was very fun.
That's also a strategy.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Crazy drivers, obviously. There's also a system overhaul of the car system in general, car combat, but also cars in
Driving.
general, driving and stuff like this. So,
Yes.
so if you shoot out a
It's so
tire
much
of someone, they will also, try to like maybe panic a little bit, try to steer it. similar to probably.
Also, if you like use quick hacks on them, they also don't know how to react. They often like crash into things because of this. It looks super natural, and it creates those amazing, emergent gameplay moments that you can enjoy.
Nice. Okay, so it's gonna be super interesting seeing our players recover.
Tak,
this.
może zrobić ten.
for
Znaczy,
those
wiesz,
videos.
problem jest taki,
Cool, guys.
że
So
oni
thank you
tej-
so much. Before we go into the next segment,
tej,
let's sum up very quickly.
optymalizacji nie podkręcą już. Nie da się. Po prostu. Oni tam wjebali wszystko w pizdu, kurwa i tyle, nie? Oni nie mają w silniku opcji na przykład, żeby ładować w locie tam elementy dalsze. Oni po prostu na start ładują ci całą mapę do pamięci. I to jest kurwa problem. Jest coś, czego nie powinieneś robić, a oni to robią, nie? Ładują ci całą mapę, całą lokację do pamięci.
So during the last stream, we
Ale dobra,
touched
trochę
upon
odchodzimy od
some
Cyberpunka.
some of the builds. We actually showed to our players the solo build with Gabe, but I would like us to talk about the net running. We already touched upon the net running a bit earlier, but what can actually our players expect in terms of net running?
So first and foremost, the biggest change in net running, and we really focused on this one, is the fact that the intelligence perk tree is from now on fully self-synergized, and you are really able to dive deeply into the playstyle of a netrunner and really play with this fantasy. And the main thing that changed there is the fact that we moved smart weapons to the intelligence perk tree plus some other perks that will allow you to actively regain your RAM. So from now on, you don't really have to wait for it to regenerate. You can actually, upload some quick hacks on enemies, switch to your smart rifle, regain the RAM you lost, or maybe switch to your monowire. And then,
Tak, właśnie widzę, nie ma craftingu w tech drzewku. Zastanawiam, gdzie on teraz jest, gdzie jak teraz będę musiał się rozwijać, żeby robić sobie craftera dalej, nie?
But there's still the passive regeneration of RAM.
Yeah. There's definitely still passive regeneration. It's really much more about like the flow, the rhythm.
Chyba, że
of
w ogóle
how you,
wyjebali
quick hack
crafting.
and how you regain it. You have more impact on it. You can influence drastically how much RAM is regenerating. However, there are still plenty of options to like do it passively, and there's always the cyberware who at all times is trying to be there. If you think that something is missing from your build, cyberware will probably handle it and help you out. And this is it's a very
Powiem ci,
nice.
że patrzę na to drzewko,
change because
nie mogę
it's
znaleźć.
nothing obligatory. If you enjoy this active gameplay where
Ale nie mogę znaleźć, więc może, że w ogóle wyjebali go kompletnie z drzewek.
But if you prefer for this to work behind the scenes for you, absolutely an option, and you can even combine it.
Tak, nie widzę go w body.
In general, we added some really cool perks and stuff for Netrunner. For example, there's this overclock perk that basically
To też nie ma sensu, nie? Nie widzę go w refleksie.
Once you run out of RAM, you are able to use your health pool to be able to use it as a resource to
Niczego nie ma.
So it, as you may
Przecież są
expect,
smart weapons
drastically
i
changes how you
ten.
play. You use your
Technika
health pools,
ability
maybe you wanna think
jest
of cyberware to give you this armor, to
Cyberware?
be able to, maybe survive as well.
Yeah,
also important.
it's a super cool perk because it allows the player to basically
Tam
think about his
ale
character
nie widzę
not
takie...
only in moment to moment, which is also important. Is it worth it even to cast this quick hack right here, right now, or am I putting myself into too vulnerable
No właśnie,
position?
nawet kosztów,
But also on this
modyfikacje i tym podobne.
macro
Właśnie, no
level,
kurde,
that, okay,
to ciekawe, co tam
love this
zrobili.
perk, I love to using it as much as possible, so now I want to have cyberware that basically protects me when it happens, and there will be plenty of different types of cyberware and ways for you to build your character from the cyberware perspective around this one particular perk, but they're
Więc to jest pytanie tak naprawdę.
Exactly. From intelligence tree in general, we also added some really cool stuff. For example, the copy paste ability, which is something super exciting.
Mnie najbardziej ciekawi jedno. Czy save, którego mam, będzie dalej działał? To jest w sumie taki trochę dramat, nie? Ciągle nie wiem. Bo zachęcają żeby zacząć grę od nowa. Ale czy zadziała mi stary save?
You can upload some hack on him, and the hack you chose will spread among the whole group of enemies. And I will just throw it out there. There is a suicide hack, so there are some situations in which it could be a little bit OP, but we are fine with it, I
Oh,
guess.
you know what to do, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Czy oglądamy zmiany w Cyberpunku? Tak, najpierw oglądamy stream zmiany w Cyberpunku, potem oglądamy zmiany w Cyberpunku na żywo, w sensie na moim ziemniaku. Zobaczymy, czy na moim ziemniaku, czyli na 1070 w ogóle Cyberpunk da radę pójść. To jest ważne pytanie. No a potem zobaczymy co dalej, nie? A o 20 gramy sesję RPG. Ale nie w Cyberpunka. Tak zwiększyły się wymagania. Poszły wymagania w górę. Między innymi dlatego tego patcha nie ma już na ten previous genie. To jest patch, który idzie tylko na next gena. I to jest patch, który idzie tylko na PC, nie? Więc poszły wymagania w górę. Myślę, że powinno mi dalej pójść, ale zobaczymy, nie? Z drugiej strony CD Projekt jest znany z tego, że jak robi jakieś upgrade'y, które patch czy dodatek tylko. Ja myślę, że patch tutaj zwiększa wymagania, wiesz Alan? Bo tak naprawdę wszystkie rozwiązania gameplayowe praktycznie są w patchu.
But now suddenly the addition of the queue makes you think differently about the quick hacks.
Yeah.
Maybe something that you were not using before, now because it's being able to be uploaded so much quicker, it's a completely different story. So you think about what type of cyber deck do I bring to a fight, what types of program do I bring to a fight, and it allows you to like experiment more and more with it. Two quick hacks queue is one thing. 3 is like a different thing, and then 4 is even different. It also reduces the amount of RAM it takes.
A wiecie co jest najlepsze?
It's gonna take a lot of like.
Wystarczyło dać solidne, porządne patch notesy, dobrze opisujące co się zmieniło. Nie trzeba byłoby żadnego streamu. Znaczy ten stream niestety nie pokazuje zbyt wiele.
Like once you get the feel for it, you're basically a god. But not because the damage is just high or the effects are so high, but because you did it, you know, you were the one that were combining those queues in proper order, using those quick hacks at the right time, and using the proper cyberware and perks to accommodate for all of this.
With reduced RAM, it doesn't come from the.
Ale okej, czyli generalnie mamy dalej power fantasy.
Like hack queue perk, but there's a special.
No, ale teraz wiesz, chcą poreklamować najpierw streamem, że o, patrzcie, robimy tego wielkiego, fajnego patcha, nie? Więc patch nocy będą, ale dopiero jak wyjdzie patch. A patch będzie za pół godziny.
As Philip said, allows you also to maybe mix them up in more variant ways. There are combat and non-combat combinations that will allow you to have boosts to the stats that they gain to the enemy, reduce the upload time even more. And with this specific cyber deck, there's the combinations that you will be able to maybe sandwich combat hack in between two non-combat hacks, stuff like this. It will gain you much more bonuses and generally allow you to really find your Netrunner playstyle way more.
Yeah, it's you can be much more precise with how you wanna, what kind of Netrunner you wanna be.
All right, so we know what we can do to our enemies, but what can we do to cars?
Okay, so cars since 2.0 can be quick hacked as well. There are multiple. I don't know how many. I think 4 or 5 quick hacks are available. They become available to the player with the rarity of the cyber deck they use. And they're awesome. Like this is one of the coolest things when it comes to like the emergent gameplay that's happening in the city, and like what kind of fun you can have, you know, outside of encounters, just, you know, driving the city and just having fun, stopping police, exploding cars using remote control, just forcing them to speed up.
No tak, ale to jest, wiesz,
you can force them to speed up while you take the off ramp.
Dla mnie wygodniejsze byłoby dostać patch notesy i możliwość sobie przeczytania ich samodzielnie, zamiast się, kurde, czekać z jakimś streamem.
but they create those unique,
No ale to
unpredictable
oczywiste, powiedziałem
situations
przed chwilą,
that are
Aram.
fun, you know.
Nie
A lot of
wierzyłeś mi?
explosions.
Yes, a lot of explosions, a lot of driving. Like I love the remote driving.
Mówiłem, że ten patch będzie tylko next gen, że nie wchodzi już na stare ten.
But to be able to do it, basically what you need is obviously a
Wygląda jakby dokładali na ostatnią chwilę. Co
but,
na ostatnią chwilę
there's
dokładali?
a certain perk that will allow you to quick car cars.
And it's very early on, so
Yes.
it's nothing like you can get it almost right away.
Awesome. I mean, I can't wait to play a Netrunner myself. Maybe I will finally give it a proper go.
Yeah,
It
I think I'm
deserves
gonna
it.
respec into a Netrunner.
All right, so thank you guys very much for clarifying what we can expect in terms of net running as a player. So now, before we go to another segment, let's sum up quickly what we just talked about. So, we have the new queuing quick hack system. We can do amazing combinations with them. We have overclock skill to, even boost this gameplay. And you can hack vehicles and you can do whatever you want with them. Like you heard the guys, so just give it a go.
Yes,
absolutely.
Crazy combos. All right, so next up we have one of the biggest changes, I think, coming with update 2.0, which is cyberware. I know we've changed a lot when it comes to cyberware. So maybe let's start with
A crafting?
why did you
Bo wyjęła ci go z
decide
drzewka
to change how cyberware works?
Sure. There were a couple of reasons. I think the first one was that we are thinking about cyberware as part of your build. In a game like Cyberpunk, Night City, your skills and
Może wiesz, Aram, teraz siedzi stażysta, siedzi i pisze patch notesy słuchając ich na streamie. Tak to wygląda dokładnie. Siedzi stażysta i pisze patch notesy.
And we wanted the cyberware to feel like this. It's basically something that is taking care of you behind the scenes. We were thinking about, when we were designing the cyberware, we knew from the very get-go that we wanted the cyberware to support whatever playstyle you want to pick.
Ja lubię bardzo firmy, które dają patch notesy przed patchem.
Cyberware that basically brings this particular playstyle over the top, allowing to do crazy things. Or if you feel that your particular build is missing something, cyberware is probably there to handle this problem for you.
Kopujesz dziury nazwy
There
tyketów
was this very important reason,
na listę obok projektów, które implementują. To jest bardzo możliwe, Niklim. Znaczy, myślę, że nie implementują tego teraz programiści, ale to kopiowanie z G brzmi trochę jakby tak to mogło wyglądać w przypadku pisania patch notesów. Ja bym tak zrobił w sumie trochę. Część rzeczy. Bym po prostu kopiował tytuły z Jiry. Bądź tam innego systemu tyketowego, jaki mają, nie?
But they are not for the RPG sake, like power level of your character. But they are more even more enhance this
U nas tak to się robi.
and underlying the fact that
Ja tak robię
they are just close.
Bo to wbrew pozorom ma sens. To brzmi głupio, ale to ma sens.
But if you go and compare the Kevlar vest to like any basic cyberware you have, you know that basically you don't need Kevlar vest to be a tough guy in this world.
Yes, plus, we wanted the system to reflect on what is the world of Cyberpunk in general. Look at even the anime that is there already for quite some time, or even our characters in the game itself. Look at the Kurt Hansen character. He's like a tough motherfucker. He is, the dog.
Ja teraz siedzę i klikam, sprawdź, przypadkiem nie ma patcha. Może już jest. Ej, dajcie mi patcha. Ja chcę patcha. Patch.
He's out there. He doesn't wear a Kevlar vest.
Where is my patch?
Yeah, he wears a tank top, and in this world, why is that? Yes, because at this high leagues, people gain those stats from Chrome. And we wanted this fantasy to also be in the game, because as Philip said to you, we really saw your fashion crimes, guys. You no longer have to find every piece of the clothing that will give you some of the stats. But that being said, as Philip mentioned, there are still some stats. If you really want to min-max your character and have every piece of armor you can get, every little edge, or for example, there is a...
Gorzej, że często jest tak, że to później zależy tak naprawdę od osoby, która obsługuje, czy poprawi ten tytuł na taki, który ma sens. Bo zwykle jest tak, że tytuł wrzuca osoba, która zgłasza i ona nie ma pojęcia, jak to powinno brzmieć sensownie.
Still look
decent.
good.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I kurwa,
Have
potem nie
different,
jest tak jak
different
jest.
sets of how you look. That's also very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so
Eee.
we have a lot of changes to cyberware. If I am a player coming back to the game with my existing save in update 2.0, what does it mean to me? Will the game tell me how it works, explain it?
Yeah.
Nie.
So basically, one thing that you can expect is as you go back to the game with your save, you'll get a quest. You'll be called by Victor to visit his shop, and there will be a tutorial explaining all the new mechanics. We have a completely new cyberware panel where you'll be able to see the cyberware capacity. We'll probably be talking about this later. Armor and like explaining like where is what and how it works.
Awesome. So
O Jezus, ale...
quest to explain that. But yes, speaking of capacity, because that's very
Patrząc
tightly
na to,
connected to
jak
our
ludzie
cyberware,
na przykład, wiesz,
depends on, you have the
mówili,
limited
że
capacity
o,
and on
CD
it depends
Projekt
how much
wypuścił
cyberware
informację o tym, że
you
ich
have.
zhakowali
What
po to,
would
żeby
happen
sobie wykupić
if,
trochę więcej czasu.
if I
Nie?
have too much cyberware?
Absolutnie,
Can I
jestem w
go
stanie
over this
uwierzyć.
capacity and also can I increase it somehow?
So first and foremost, you cannot strictly, we don't allow you to exceed this limit. You will not be able to unless there is one situation in which you can unlock a Edge Runner perk that will allow you to exceed this capacity by 50 points by the cost of the max health of your character. And with this perk, it's actually another example of our role playing and playing with the fantasy of the world, because you just exceeded your cyberware. Now you have you are over the limit.
I samouczka też nie nauczyli się na Wiedźminie 2, chociaż tak jest lepiej niż u Larianów. Lariani w ogóle dają jakiekolwiek samouczki? W Larianie masz grę, ucz się.
But it's something that we wanted to also play with the fact that you decided to change something in your character, and there is this state that.
Ale wiesz, co jest najgorsze w Aran jeszcze w ten.
It's not cyberpsychosis, but it's maybe something that you can think of in similar
w Baldurze.
ways.
You can act like a cyber psycho.
Exactly.
Poza tym, że nie masz tego jako tutoriala, to jeszcze jest inna sprawa. Nie masz w ogóle tego możliwości przeczytania sobie. Holocaust,
The downside for it is that your
Nie
health
masz,
is
ja, wiesz,
reduced,
ja absolutnie uważam, że w Baldurze powinien być osobno jakaś encyklopedia, podręcznik, po prostu, w którym możesz sobie poczytać wszystkie po kolei rzeczy, możesz sobie zaplanować widla i tak dalej. Nie ma tego w instrukcji. Nichlim instrukcji w jedynce Baldurze może jest. Ale w 2023 roku to oczekujemy, że takie rzeczy jak instrukcja obsługi i grania w grę jest w grze. Na przykład tutaj świetnie wymyśla to cywilizacja. We wtorek będzie kolekcjonerka, to sprawdzę. A jeszcze nie doszła? Au. Nie będzie fizycznej instrukcji, nie wydaje mi się.
So there are items that drop that we call them cyberware capacity shards.
3-stronicowy PDF.
Optimize your
Czekaj,
system
czekaj.
so that essentially you can just basically get more cyberware. And we even have a cyberware dedicated just to increase your cyberware capacity.
That's so meta.
Which seems like
Żeby tak na chwilę, bo i tak nie powiem niczego. Mamy tutaj patch notes, edit, manage installation, które mogą zrobić takie rzeczy, mogę check for updates. Ale nie ma extras. Przykładowo, w przypadku Cyberpunka mamy... Gdzie jest extras, kurwa? Tu jest extras, zobaczcie, nie patrzyłem. Tu jest extras. Ost, artbook, character sheets, tyle. O, ale jest OST w MP3 i w WAV-ie. Nice.
One of my favorites is that
Więc bardzo rzeczy nie ma instrukcji.
Cyberware for hands. It's not a smart link. It's not
Mr. Hands for you.
It's a general cyberware that basically reduces the stamina cost while shooting. And with this cyberware, it's quite costly. But with this cyberware, you can reach basically like laser accuracy with most weapons. It's really amazing. Other than that, I don't know, a couple of other examples. We modify like biomonitor so that now it takes care of you. It's basically whenever you can heal and there's a need for you to heal.
Dostał zgodę. Nie musiał pisać zgodę.
Uses your consumables, injector or inhaler, and it's super nice because
Miło, że Korzy pytał, ale generalnie ta muzyka nawet nie jest Content ID na YouTubie. Więc oni automatycznie sami mówią whatever. Zwróć uwagę, że streamowałem tyle sesji, tyle razy grałem w Baldura na streamie. Ani razu nie miałem copyright strike'a, nie? Więc oni generalnie mają włożoną na to lagę, nie? That's the thing.
Like cancel the shooting to have the animation of healing yourself because it happens at the same time.
Jest to oczywiście pewien problematyczne dla nich.
On the topic of cyberware, our community was actually wondering whether we would have different types of the same cyberware. So, for example, different types of mantis blades.
So yeah, this is still a thing. Different types of mantis blades would deal different types of damage. For example, electrical, chemical, and stuff like this. But from 2.0, we added way more to it. For example, there's different cyber decks that allow you rather not for specific effects, but rather allow you to attune it to a specific play style you want to have. So there's cyber deck that will play very well with stealth net running, and there's a cyber deck that will allow you to have more of the monowire combat enhanced for
aggressive Sandevi stance, defensive Sandevi stance, which it's really like a theme with many things where particular cyberware or
jak sobie wygooglowałem ARAM, to wychodzi na to, że po prostu
but they do it so differently that it's really up to you which one do you prefer most.
Będziesz tak naprawdę teraz farmił rzeczy do craftingu i tyle.
From your perks and everything. But just mix this thing up as you go.
Pytanie w takim wypadku, czy każdy będzie mógł upgrade'ować broni legendarną na przykład?
Master the, let's say, I don't know, dash or any other like wrecking ball, and maybe you can swap something for something else.
Exactly, we wanted you to, even if you already make
jest pod tym kątem o tyle fajnie, że nie musisz planować swojego buildu tak, żeby mieć crafting, bo crafting był przegięty, right?
Alright, so we're gonna have a lot of cyberware.
A swoją drogą też zrobili jedną rzecz tego czytałem fajną, czyli armor nie jest już przypisany do ubioru. Więc teraz ubiór, to nosi na sobie to ubiór, a armor to armor. Bo w chuj! Więc ja będę mógł zrobić katanę, mistrza katany, że nie wiem, hakera, nie?
The main reason here, because you probably can't play without armor for at least for lower difficulties and for
I think up to hard it's totally possible. It was one of the reasons why we also made the cyberware change. That players can like previously. Players always had this armor with them because they were just picking it up from the clothes as they were playing the game. So at all times you had some kind of armor. Right now we fully support no armor playstyle up to, I think, hard difficulty. Yeah. On very hard it will be really challenging, I think.
Exactly.
But this is like connected to this question about the humanity. This is a very powerful decision in this world. You know, not installing the Chrome. This is like the reverse of everybody is doing, which makes this choice even so much more like meaningful. So I think it's totally possible. You don't have to install it, and you'll do fine. But you need to know that the game will be significantly much more difficult.
I also think that if someone wants to roleplay as the purest human, it's already a little bit impossible because you have some of the cyberware by default in Cyberpunk anyway.
Right, so we have another question from the community. So we've heard about the new relic perks, adding new features to the Mantis Blade, the monowire, and the PLS. But what does it do for guerrilla arms abusers like me?
Guerrilla arms abusers. I love this phrasing.
My kind of person.
So yeah, there's a lot for guerrilla arms abusers. In Relic Perks Tree there's this...
Myślę, że Nicklim, że spoko, bo można będzie zrobić dobrą stealth postać pod tym kątem i tak.
And once charged up, you are able to perform
Albo Netrunnera.
really powerful
Czy nie, Netrunner będzie
one-punch
potrzebował
attack,
raczej ten domu. Ale
basically
stealth
deals
myślę, że poradzi sobie
massive
bez
damage to the
dodatkowych
enemy
rzeczy.
you're punching,
Teraz
plus,
na pewno bez sensu na przykład nie będziesz miał dodatkowego double jumpa, nie? Bo double jump pomaga bardzo fajnie przychodzić w tej grze, biegać w tej grze. Więc zobaczymy.
And if you happen to kill the enemy with it, you basically
Which we will.
you basically turn this person into Neil Armstrong, and you send him to the moon. He never comes back. But there's
No.
a lot more to it in Relic Perk Tree.
Actually, the whole Relic tree is all about cyberware.
Yeah.
From every single section, it's a really cyberware-oriented skill tree because it's related to the story and Songbird, and she's doing the stuff through the Relic to basically enhance your cyberware. It's very powerful. It's very distinctive. You can go either on the offensive side with it, or on the defensive side with the self
optical camo perk. But my favorite one in Relic Perk Tree is about vulnerability analytics. It also plays this narration.
Myślę, że bardzo się da bez tego.
Cyberware, because technically you need Kiroshi to have it, but you have Kiroshi in the game anyway. But the way it works, it's basically the system analyzes the enemy for you and looks for some weak spots in the enemy, maybe broken cyber or something in the enemy itself, and it shows it on the UI on the HUD overlay of the game, which is basically those red squares that you will be able to shoot. And it does not only deal massive damage to the enemy, but it also explodes while you hit it.
I
AoE
like how they explode.
And it's an EMP damage, which can also be relevant against certain types of enemies.
Yes.
It's really cool. This one really took me by surprise because I didn't really appreciate until I actually played it how sweetly it changes the way you play the game.
Yes.
You have like this flow of like doing the headshots, trying to shoot them, and now the moment the vulnerability appears, you have to make this little decision. Okay, should I switch it up, change my aim for the bigger payoff, depending on where the enemy is, how far he is, how damaged he is, and it constantly keeps you engaged and like it's just very fun.
Yeah, it adds to even the choice of weapons, stuff like this. But it's awesome.
It works with melee weapons as well. So
Exactly. Yeah, it's maybe a little bit harder, but with melee. But
I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah.
So it could work in basically almost any build.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's just repeat that.
Później gdzie niektóre legendarki leżą i jolo.
So today you will not be able to play it, but
Pytanie, które legendarki cię interesują tak
few
naprawdę?
days.
in a way, yeah.
All right, so now we can sum up. And yeah, so guys,
Daszku.
you have new cyberware
Później można minąć,
coming.
więc przejść na maksa smart
Some of
guny
the
i da
changes
radę.
to cyberware, which, for example, one of them is the
Ale
capacity,
nie
so
możesz
make
wymienić
sure,
oczu na lepsze.
to check your limits,
Aha.
check your skills, check your
I
perks.
ten
If you can
cyberware,
do
który
further
dostajesz
than
na
that,
starcie,
if, you
to
know,
jest
if you
koniec
want,
cyberware'u, jaki
put
założyłeś
the
w grze.
perk And see what does.
To jest
And
wyzwanie.
one of another bigger changes, the armor is now coming not through cyberware, through cyberware, sorry, not through the actual clothing.
To jest
Okay, so
wyzwanie pod tym kątem właśnie, że
cyberware
nie masz
was a very
armora
big
w
and very
cyberware'ze.
impactful topic,
Że
very
w ubraniu,
visible
tylko w
in the
cyberware'ze.
game. But now let's talk about something less visible, but I think as important as that.
A
So
pytanie,
all of
czy
the
dalej są
balance
mody do
changes
cyberware'a,
and economy
Aran?
changes. So balance, we already talked a little bit about the changes to AI. Now maybe let's focus on economy. So I know that now we're gonna get a little bit
Podstawce
less
nie ma
loot,
nic
there are
lepszego
some
na oczy.
price changes, so can you talk a
Są
little bit
lepsze
more
oczy w
about the
podstawce.
intent behind it?
Sure. I think that the first thing that players will notice is that there's generally less loot on the level, dropping from the enemies, and it was important for us so that player can like really focus, on the story and like not break this gameplay into two phases where you clear the encounter and then go around the encounter and you feel like the scavenger who's picking this stuff from all over the place.
Yeah, every time.
So the loot is more meaningful this time around, and clothes are no longer dropping from enemies. We didn't like this from the fantasy point of view. You're supposed to be merc, You choose your loadouts, your gear, how you look in this world. It shouldn't be some random chance. Plus, it just didn't feel right, to be picking up
basing your wardrobe from dead bodies,
that you just massacred with mantis blades or grenades and whatnot.
With holes inside.
Exactly. So that's a very nice change, in my opinion. What else? Oh, and coming back to the fact of being mercenary. You will notice that you get much more money from the rewards for doing the quest and the gigs and whatever the fixers are setting you up with. In this world, it really wouldn't make sense to risk lives in this extremely brutal environment if you weren't paid properly to afford the cyberware and weapons and other toys like cars, apartments, and
yes,
et
exactly.
cetera.
Plus, you can make it really tied to your specific character you want to be. Plus, vendors. One thing to mention here, they will also change up what they have in stock, so it's worth revisiting them from time to time. Different small thing we also worked on is how thematic the vendors are. Maybe vendor in city center.
Widzę na przykład, że nie opłaca mi się kompletnie.
Golden weapons and black market vendor would sell you illegal weapons, stuff like this.
Zobaczymy, jak to będzie wyglądało. No, wiesz, my teraz sobie patrzymy na podstawie tego, co było kiedyś, ale zobaczymy, co będzie dokładnie. Patrzę na drzewko cały czas. I tak, nie opłaca mi się robić, bo chcę kontynuować grę tym gościem z kataną, nie? Więc nie opłaca mi się walić inta, ewentualnie jeden punkcik, żeby sobie zrobić i żeby dać karhakera. Czemu nie? Technical ability też mi to bardzo nic nie daje.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't talk about numbers here probably. Obviously,
Give us a week.
Yeah, maybe we have to count them. Yeah, we have to count them. But I would say that.
Ale z drugiej strony nie. Tech ability jest na Cyberware'a, więc chyba wydaje mi się, że Cyberware będzie tym kolejnym, czyli tech ability będziemy podnosić sobie.
Listen, we literally took every item in the game that was already there, redesigned it, rethinked it. As I mentioned, there's no stone unturned, so we probably should, from gameplay perspective, answer that every item in the game is a new one, so countless.
There isn't a single cyberware which is the same. There isn't a single gun which is the same. Like all stats, all handling, grenades, inhalers, quick hacks, absolutely everything has been changed.
O Boże.
Wow, so basically all new.
Przeglądam sobie to drzewko, nie?
Plus a lot of new items that weren't in the game. Yeah.
Exactly.
I tutaj
let's clarify that
built
that does not
different.
mean that all weapons
I'm
will
built
have new models,
different.
Like we're talking about gameplay perspective, right? Right.
Okay, so while we are on the gameplay perspective, what about crafting and upgrading items? Because I know this is like a very hot topic within our community. Like, where did the crafting go? What's happening?
Sure. So crafting is still very much a thing. Actually, I was maybe even say it's more of a thing.
Mówili, że będzie działać.
It's not like tied to the tech tree, at least not directly. Meaning everybody can craft craft weapons or upgrade iconics or upgrade even cyberware. This is the new addition that we've added. In Tech Tree, there'll be perks that will make the upgrading process maybe simpler, easier, because you will have more components, you'll have more choices when it comes to upgrading. So what do you want to upgrade into, for instance, the cyberware? But as a baseline, everybody can do the upgrading and crafting. And it's just a matter of how do you want to, be involved in this loop. The cool part is that you'll be finding some extremely powerful recipes in the loot. So this will also probably play a factor whether you'll be engaging in this and how you'll be engaging in this.
Exactly. We didn't want to introduce this bottlenecks into the system, so we wanted every possible playstyle to have an option to use this super powerful tool, which is crafting and upgrading. I know, Alicia, you asked me previously, why did you change this?
Yeah, because I went into full Tech Tree just to be able to craft legendaries. My legendary Overwatch I love it.
You'll be able to do it still. You'll get your points back, and if you choose to go back to tech, there's there are some big payoffs at level 20. So I think
okay,
you'll like it.
I will check it out. Maybe Netrunner, maybe Techie. We'll see.
One thing to mention here is that components that you use in crafting and upgrading, they are not purchasable. You'll have have to find them in loot. So guys, good luck in airdrops.
yeah. But this makes them so much more, exciting, and you're happy when you get them. Also, the whole upgrading is streamlined so that you only need a single type of component to upgrade, which it's like a nice quality of life change for the people.
And we are talking about the upgrading. I think what's worth mentioning here that we replaced the old rarity levels with new ones, right? Can we maybe explain a bit more?
With tiers.
With tiers.
Yeah. So currently they're called tiers.
Okej, czyli cały rework broni.
Every couple of levels, player will advance to a new tier. It doesn't happen it's not like a hard cutoff point where suddenly you are on the next tier. It's just the items from the next tier will become available, both from the loot, from enemies and chests, containers, etc., and also at vendors. With each new tier, new types of items are introduced. New weapons, new cyberware, quick hacks, and other things. So this is a big change, definitely. We changed it primarily to allow players to play with their weapons for as long as they want. Previously, weapons were scaling with each level. Their damage was scaling with each level. And players were, when they saw a new gun that had this green arrow, up arrow on it, they were often, just switching it up. And we didn't like how it was controlling the way you play instead of giving you the freedom to roleplay your character. So if you really care about using pistols, like me, I really didn't like this moment when suddenly having a shotgun dropped makes me change it because it's just more powerful. I didn't. This fear of missing out was just too powerful.
Exactly, and this is also a theme in a lot of changes that we are talking about today. We looked at our systems and we found all the places that kinda, instead of introducing choice, we are deciding and respecting this choice and having an actual decision-making left for the player. We felt like we are making this decision for them. So here, obviously, this is something that we really wanted to put emphasis on. But with those loot changes, with tier changes, that does not mean that weapons have the leveling up.
Oni tam wszystko znerfili, wiesz?
For the weapon system, because with higher levels, better weapons will be dropped from loot. So this is also something that will play along. Plus, with loot, vendors will change their stock, for example. So it's worth revisiting different vendors in the Night City. We also
from time to time.
Ja już ściągam. Mi się jeszcze nie pojawiło.
Loot in there, and if it matches your playstyle, it's definitely something worth considering.
No updates available.
Curve sometimes.
Yeah, I think that the biggest change is that player has this time, where he can really
20 giga. No spoko, no tylko mi się pojawi.
Have fun with it. Check it out and not worry that there is this
Wyłączę
next gun that will take this away from me. And it really completely changed the dynamic of how you're building your
Goga i otworzę go jeszcze raz i może załapię. To wbrew pozorom czasami działa. Gog jest tak wspaniale napisany.
The gun can grow together with the player.
Yes, however, we are no longer upgrading guns themselves. You can upgrade iconics, but not the guns.
Okay. Iconic weapons.
Iconic weapons, yeah, of course. Cyberware as well.
Yes.
Okay,
no come on,
so
odpal się Gogu.
I know we have some changes when it comes to
Albert ma
the
też jakiś stream na YouTubie.
So
Sorry, Grey Wolfie, ale na obecną chwilę to w sumie mnie tak średnio interesuje. Na obecną chwilę interesuje mnie Cyberpunk.
Ability to move around the Night City freely without being annoyed that the stamina is running out when you are sprinting, for example.
No update.
To quest. So those movement verbs no longer use stamina that is sprinting. This is some of the movement verbs that are more combat related, like the crouch sprint we mentioned, or dashes, stuff like this. Also will use stamina, but the general idea behind it is that the mobility of player is not
Nie zmień to gdzie mój update, kurwa?
Being controlled by stamina resource. But stamina resource from now on will depend on the recall of the weapon. So shooting the gun will drain the stamina resource, But a very important.
Tylko tak tylko mówię, no jasne, jasne. Ja też trochę tutaj się żartuję, nie, pod tym kątem. Aczkolwiek tak naprawdę teraz naprawdę interesuje mnie tylko ten patch do Cyberpunka, a kurwa nie ma go. Nie wiem czemu.
It's the opposite. This recall mechanic was already in the game. It was behind the curtain. We were controlling it fully, but again,
Dobra,
as with
zamknijmy
a lot of
jeszcze
changes
raz
that we did,
You could feel
Goga.
it somehow, you know, through how the weapon behaves, how the reticle is shaping up, etc. But it was very obscured.
exactly, it differed from weapon to weapon, but as with many changes that we are
Gogu,
discussing today,
jesteś
we
żałosny.
wanted to take away this decision from us and give it to the player. So stamina research is a perfect way to do it. We decided that from now on, this behind the scenes system will be controllable by player, and by adding
No
it to
update.
stamina,
Kurwa.
by combining it with stamina research, we were
CD
able
Projekcie.
to
To jest
a lot
wasz
of
system,
decisions for the
wasz
player.
ten.
You are now able to modify
konsoli
how
działa
your
już,
stamina
tak?
is behaving with perks, with the different
Cyberware.
abilities, cyberware,
Yeah.
modifications on weapons, a lot of stuff. And
Even like just watching your stamina as you shoot, and like comparing the behavior of the weapon, the aim that you can get, you know, on
15%.
high level of stamina versus
Zero.
No stamina.
Kurwa się jeszcze
very
nie
different.
ściąga.
And then different weapons use stamina also differently, which allowed us for the weapons to be much more.
Nie obchodzi mnie
how to say,
importowanie
like,
Epika w tym
farther
momencie.
apart, more unique and have their own characteristic.
Tony
they had
Gog.
characteristic, don't get me wrong, previously. We're just doubling down on this.
exactly, and maybe there's a lot to maybe affect this
Yes.
handling from the player perspective rather
And
than
it's clearer.
accepting it. Yeah.
Spokojnie
clear.
będzie.
You can like
Wiesz,
see it,
Nichlim, ja mam
and
później
you can
sesję, więc
expect
chciałbym
what
zdążyć
happens,
jednak
by the way
zagrać.
Stamina works as you shoot. You see the difference. Like it's really noticeable, especially for
A co
certain
do
weapons,
Sony
which
GOG,
also cool,
ja,
because
wiesz co, ja
if this
nie
is
będę
not
się
something
wypowiadał na
for
temat
you,
tego,
which,
jak
where
chujową
you
i
are
antykliencką
enjoying
firmą
those,
jest Sony.
very accurate
A
weapons,
nie,
like
chwila, będę się
sniper
wypowiadał,
rifles
bo
or
Sony jest
or
chujową i
definitely
antykliencką
weapons with,
firmą.
like, softer on
Więc
stamina
jeśli lubisz Sony,
and,
to wspierasz absolutnie najbardziej
you know, it's
chujową
like
gamingową
their
korporację
thing.
ever,
Yeah, plus,
która
plays
ma
around,
maksymalnie
really well with
najbardziej,
what Philip was,
kurwa,
describing
antykonsumenckie
before, which is
zagrywki,
the
jakie
tier
tylko można
system,
mieć.
Because
Więc no.
because of the tier system got reworked, you are able to stick with one weapon for a bit longer now. That means one of the things you will notice a
Jest.
lot is that you will be able to actually play around with this recall and stamina
Już?
system, and maybe find a weapon that actually suits your how fun it is to shoot, how
Nie.
fun it is to play with it, rather than what's the damage on
Yeah,
on
and
the
also like the distance, you know. That,
Update failed.
Depending
Woohoo!
on the distance you're playing, you know, it also is a big factor how you look at those things. One
Why
important
do you
thing
failed?
to add, probably we should have
Okej.
told about
Serwery
earlier,
Goga się by
is
wyjebały.
the weapon tooltips, where you will no longer see this DPS, big DPS number that was pretty much defining the weapon.
Jest 50 giga?
As it is.
Dobrze.
Up or down.
Yes,
Exactly.
but instead you'll see a set of like bars about like the damage of the weapon, like single damage of the weapon, rate of fire, handling, and some
No
other
powiem
stuff.
wam,
Distance,
chłopaki,
Distance, and
że
you
serwery
should be
Goga się
basically
popisują.
looking at it, and this will give you some glimpse of what to expect from the weapon, whether it fits.
Ale dobra,
but
teraz
you should
chyba,
just,
nie
try it
wiem,
out
kurwa.
and see if it's your thing or not.
Chyba serwery Goga nie
I
wytrzymały.
mean, that's why I've been going into crafting, because I could keep my weapons
Yes,
for
exactly,
longer. So
exactly.
I'm happy that it's now available for all
Yes,
players.
this is basically what we wanted to achieve on the global level without the need to like maintain your weapon with a crafting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
still a thing, definitely. So for those of you who have your beloved iconic, you'll be definitely
Masz dalej do
able to,
serwera.
like, maintain it and master it.
To jest Nintendo wzroczowego w miejscu
moving
ręku
on
bycia
to
ujem.
other types of
True.
weapons, we haven't really touched upon the
4
smart
godziny do
weapons.
update'u.
I know that
Kurwa,
they are now
odwołuję
connected
sesję.
with the intelligence attribute. So what else can you tell us about that?
So with smart weapons, yeah, this is another awesome change. I
One of my
really
favorites.
love, yeah, one of my favorites in terms of weapons. What we changed is how the target locking works on smart weapons. That's the biggest change we focused on, and in terms of smart weapons, the way it used to work, when you were aiming with your smart weapon, a lot of targets on one singular enemy were chosen, and while shooting, the bullets went to those targets. And currently, it's
Dobra, już się trochę
working
rozpędził.
in a way that first of all, There is we added a
54 giga.
Lock on time.
Lock on time, so it's not instantaneous, and I'll touch on that in a second. But second big thing we added is that from now on the target on singular
Zaraz
enemy
więcej niż na PS5
that is
zajmuje,
chosen
wow.
by smart weapon is just one singular target. So if you're shooting from hip, it will be usually torso.
I będę miał go
If
szybciej
you
niż ty.
are, ADSing, this will usually be.
Mimo, że zacząłem później, tak?
Basically, it will be the best possible.
Ile ci tam
spot
minut
on
zostało do
enemy's,
końca?
Body to shoot it. It could be a head, but with vulnerability analytics, it could be this weak
Dobra,
spot
słuchajcie.
of the enemy.
Idę
Or
skorzystać z
maybe there's
kibelka?
something more to it. There's some,
Po coś do picia?
I don't know,
Takiego
broken cyber inside
słodkiego,
the
bo
end,
potrzebuję
there's
czegoś
something
słodkiego
that
do
will be
picia.
chosen,
I wracam
with
i
smart
robimy
weapon,
szybki
for you.
check, co tam się dzieje.
And as I said, we added this,
Będziemy
locking time to
potem
it,
ewentualnie
and
może, nie wiem,
this
dopypować
allows us
coś na
to,
sesję albo coś w tym
add a
stylu,
lot
zobaczymy.
of synergies between perks
And depth.
depth to like player choice, player progression of smart weapon playstyle rather than singular smart weapon.
And even like choosing which smart weapon you want to use, because the differences between smart weapons are like they've never been as big as right now. They vary in like the shape and the size of the reticle. So how easy it is to lock target, to get it into your frame, but also like the distance, the speed of how quickly they are locking on the target. Again, even though smart weapons are in the intelligence tree and they fully synergizes with the Netrunner playstyle, you can totally use smart weapons as like the fast reflexes character who is like zooming around the battlefield, doing a lot of 180s, in a very agile manner, and like pick a smart weapon that basically can catch up with you while you're doing all of this cool stuff. Versus, for instance, if you're a body character, which is like slower but sturdier, maybe then a different set of smart weapons could be a thing for you, and it's like totally supported.
Yeah, basically from 2.0 smart weapons require less aiming skills, and maybe to be more efficient with them, you actually have to spend a little bit more time planning ahead what will we do with this weapon. So it plays along with this fantasy of who would use this smart weapon. Probably a person that actually sits down, opens perks, reads descriptions, plans out modifications, stuff like this. So basically, we made smart weapons actually smart.
Yeah, but that for sure. Talking about being smarter, you can now, for instance, lock onto a target while actually losing the line of sight. So you can go around the corner and like still maintain shooting at them. And even though you don't see the character on your character, as long as it's locked, a smart weapon will find its target, and it's really amazing feeling. Yeah. Super powerful, like in the fantasy of a Netrunner, someone who can shoot your enemies from behind covers, behind corners. Yeah.
Okay, guys, so really cool smart weapons, smarter weapons.
Jesteśmy na 30%.
Another thing, how about ammo? I know that we have changed something in terms of ammunition for different types of weapons.
Mm-hmm. The main thing in ammunition, or rather one of the things we changed, is from now on SMGs will no longer will use, or rather SMGs will use pistol ammo. It seems like a small thing, but it has huge consequences for the player, because we were able to introduce this subtree in the reflexes perk tree that allows you to progress both SMGs and assault rifles. So the fact that SMGs use a different resource from now on than assault rifles, because rifles will use rifle ammo and SMGs will use pistol ammo, allowed us to introduce this type of a playstyle that I am efficient with two types of weapon, but they use different type of resource. So while shooting SMGs, I'm not running out of ammo for assault rifle that I have in my backpack, and I want to switch right away. So in general, this is something that plays along with again with a lot of changes that we did. We put this player that actually makes sense right now. And with ammo in general, it's.
Ktoś amunicji używa w tej grze?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have much more ammo available to you.
5 minut.
So it drops more.
Możemy się posłuchać chwilę.
But also you have like more capacity.
You can craft it as well.
Yeah, you could craft it, but you can still craft it. It's cheap and accessible, so there shouldn't be any problem with this. It's a funny thing with the ammo, because it really the moment where it like struck us that okay, we need to increase the ammo capacity was when we were watching Gabe, our game director, playing the game, and he was like a huge fan of vehicle combat, and we were watching him, you know, basically driving around the city and like
czego to jest, kurwa, ten update?
With the encounters and police
A,
and
z czatu.
whatnot, civilians
Okay.
everywhere. He was basically like full auto spraying all the time and getting out of ammo and like
Teraz
okay, yeah, we
ogarnąłem.
need to increase this.
Well, that sounds like Gabe.
yeah, it's very Gabe.
Quoting him, he likes to do that.
All right, so last but not least, I know our community already spotted that in our gameplay materials, but this is something that, you know, we've also wondered when we were playing the game. Changes to inhalers, grenades, injectors. What can we say about that?
Quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Quite a lot.
It seems like
tyle,
a
nie?
small change, but this is
Boże.
actually one of the first things that we did when we were switching to 2.0 because this is the
Dobra.
thing that allowed
Na
us
obecną
to
chwilę
basically took a completely
chciałbym, żeby
different
moje finalne
approach
drzewko
to
wyglądało
balancing the
tak.
game.
Mamy
No,
full w
previously
refleksie,
with, players
wyjebujemy
sometimes
masę
free
na
all the
bieganie
inhalers
i
in the
na
game, like
broń.
samples, like 600
Nie wiem, czy tych
them.
wszystkich
It was
potrzebuję, ale na
really
razie
difficult to
wziąłem.
balance the
Potrzebuję
game
też
and
technical
knowing, like,
ability,
what is the
bo tutaj jest
difficulty
cyberwar,
of encounter, because it was just
więc
so
będziemy
much
to też
different
ogarniać.
depending on the
I
player.
zostało mi tak naprawdę
And
29
second of all,
atrybut
we,
pońców,
didn't like the
więc mogę jakieś atrybuty jeszcze tutaj
fact that,
podnosić. Nie wiem, co mi się
whether
przyda tak
you win the
naprawdę.
encounter or not, often
I
depends on
20
how quickly
perków.
you just press the D-pad button and heal yourself.
To teoretycznie
It shouldn't
daje
be
mi
about
właśnie.
this.
Tutaj mamy perka, który
Instead,
możemy
it's
sobie
much
przyspieszyć
more
na
about,
ruch.
like, tactics and thinking, you know, when to use it, but also be aware of the limit that you have. And since it's a charge-based system right now, at all times you know how much of the inhalers you have. You don't have to remember it, for instance. And
To
on
jest
top of
fajne.
it,
To można
they
wziąć.
become much more powerful. So
W
you
BC
won't
było
need,
bieganie
like,
chyba.
a couple of whiffs
W BC?
you know, to top up. And allowed us to invest into it from the cyberware
O, to jest
and
fajne.
perks, alike. So for people who like enjoy this and like want to have this backup, there's definitely a lot of stuff that you can play with, which even increases like the decision making on like when do I want to use it, because maybe it increases the recharge rate or
No
how
to
much
jest,
I
to
should.
jest ewentualnie też, co byśmy mogli chcieć. Generalnie body do 20.
You know, the fact that you were able to actually have 600
Adrenaline
dollars
rush.
backpack took away the decision of do I want to heal or not, because the answer was always yes. If I have an infinite amount of them from technical point of view at that point, why not heal? I can heal ahead. I can just, you know, learn to heal every 2 seconds, and this is my playstyle now. This is something that we really want to be a
Tak,
conscious
to,
decision.
generalnie
Hey,
wydaje mi się, to jest spoko opcja. Mamy 13 perków jeszcze, ale z tego nie ma sensu nic. Nie będziemy brali, mogę wziąć Fury Roada. Because why not?
Maybe then do the reload.
Yes, so like then I will have to wait for first the recharge of my healing item, so I'll be able to hack whatever. Stuff like this that actually has.
Tutaj mogę ewentualnie czegoś zrezygnować pewnie, ale nie jestem pewny czego jeszcze.
Super important for us.
Okej, tego nie potrzebuję.
It's really hard to overestimate like the profoundness of this change because it really allowed us to look differently at the balance of the game, and I really like. It did so much good for the game in general, like where you wouldn't expect it.
No, nie wiem do końca co to znaczy, więc.
Encounters, we were like the process of like balancing this took us like 9 or 10 months. So we really were very invested in this change, and we stood by it.
Plus we wanted to actually.
Tak, to jest spoko, nie?
AI, but we wanted to.
W Kulu mamy to wziąłem jak najbardziej, ale to już jest. Tutaj jeden poziom tego ninjutsu można było wziąć, ale nie mam tyle stat pointsów. Czy będę miał tyle stat pointsów? Będę miał tyle stat pointsów może nawet.
Alright. Plus grenades, obviously, it's not only about healing, it's also grenades.
Tak.
Because it changes up
Alright.
how many grenades.
Jeden punkt więcej mi nie trzeba. To jest do rzucanych broni. Tutaj mamy to. Optical camo nie interesuje mnie. No tak, tutaj potrzebujemy takie kolejne 15% druhu. Ja się planowali już ciekawe jak wyszło, no. To prawda. To są pistolety, to nie. W incie gram... Nie jest mi to potrzebne.
my favorite thing to do is
Tutaj mam opakowane wszystko, mogę wziąć tego Sandjocka.
Switching to my smart rifle and the locking time because
It's instant.
not instant, but
It's almost
way
instant.
faster.
Yeah, it's like almost instant.
Yeah,
it's super.
Dobra,
cool
możemy
combo.
wziąć
And-
to,
and-
to
and
jest
have like
co?
a lot of
Aha,
things
tylko
like
blunt
this,
weapons, whatever.
thanks to the
Obrażenia
charge,
większe,
every single,
spoko.
of those items can be more powerful, but at the same time, some people really enjoyed like the fact that they could like heal all the time.
When check
And
Blood Pump,
still,
Cyberpunk
with proper
Head Item
perks, with
Mitigation,
proper
to jest
cyberware,
okej, dobra.
You can get this feeling where this is always available to you.
Okej,
It's just a choice right now rather than a
okej.
benefit.
All right. Cool. So now let's go quickly over some changes to the UI that I know that a lot of our community will be excited for. First of all, the minimap. We already, a couple of patches ago, we already made it zoom
Te to
out
są do
when
granatów,
you
więc są
go
mi
into the
niepotrzebne.
car onto the
To jest
motorbike, but
granat,
now we're adding even more
granat.
changes, right?
So with minimap, the main thing we focused on is making
Oh,
it
yeah.
more clear,
Chłopaki.
decluttering it, making it consistent throughout
Stream
the
papa.
whole,
Gameplay.
any situation, be it combat or outside of combat. One of the things you'll
Odpalcie
notice
prawdopodobnie
right
na złym
away
ekranie ten
is,
Cyberpunk.
the cones on minimap. From now on, the moment you see a cone, it only means the fact
Bye
that
bye. Tak, stream odpali mi się teraz na prawym ekranie, teraz to będę poprawiał. A nie, odpalił się tutaj. Okej, tylko nie ma dźwięku. Jest dźwięk, dobra. Alright. Tak, już mam. Zaleta posiadania dobrego łącza. Good morning, Night City! Welcome to fantastic Cyberpunk 2.0. Yeah, check out what's new. Road Rage, Criminal, Adapt, dobra. Nauczę się w szachcie. Mamy save'a, na którym trochę zrobiliśmy. Nie chcę mi się zaczynać gry od nowa kompletnie. Więc dlatego chcę skorzystać z save'a, którego już mam.
Spokeswoman for the NCPD. Hi there. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Ziggy. Thanks for having me.
I... Okej, tak.
Hey V, hope it's not a bad time. Some news trickled down the Ripper grapevine. Thought it might interest you.
Cut the foreplay, Vic. Spill.
Well, some in-plan soft updates just hit the streets. Completely fresh batch. Useful as hell, Ripper say. Dropped a dime to you first, cause well, I'm rooting for you, kid.
Dobra. Tak, staty dostałem na nowo, ale nie pozwoli mi atrybutów na nowo wydać. Ojej. Ale taktyka będzie i tak chcemy na 20, więc spoko. Tylko w tym momencie na razie ładujemy wszystko w refleks. Dobra, to trochę nam zmienia. Nie mamy na razie tego dostępu, więc będziemy robili tylko co możemy. Tak. Mam 31 level tutaj aż, wow. Tech Ability. Tech Ability mam... Co myślicie? Aha, tutaj w Tech Ability bierzemy... Tak. Alright, więc mamy na maksa rzeczy związane z... Alright. Mamy jeszcze 7 punktów perkowych. Tutaj mamy jeszcze Power Slide. Czekaj, w body mogliśmy na pewno wziąć regenkę health'a. Tak jest. W refleksie poza tym to było jeszcze jakiś to jest to właśnie, czy... Dobra, nie, na razie tego nie robimy. W kulu mamy tutaj ninjutsu, fire and footwork, więc zrobimy tak. I... Nie, to nie jest nam potrzebne. Co z tego tutaj mamy dasha, tak? Mamy dasha. Mamy ile tych perków? 4, dobra, zrobimy sobie manewrowność ten. Alright. No dobra. Resety atrybuty. Mógłbym zrobić, dobra. Okej, czyli teraz od nowa. Jak powiększyć atrybuty? Jak się podwiększało atrybuty? Dobra, jest. F. Bo najpierw mnie interesuje zrobienie tego, co mam tutaj. A potem dopiero cyberware'owe rzeczy. Zresztą styknie mi. Teraz tak, możemy wziąć jeden w kulu, jeden w body. Nas nie interesuje. Na razie chcemy zrobić tak. Tak. Alright. Blades na maksa. Wszystko w bladesy. Tak, tutaj możemy faktycznie władować co chcemy. Możemy tylko w naszego Cyberware'a. Cyberware gain additional slot modifier. Tak, dobrze. Crafting components from looting, niech będzie. Incoming damage, dobrze. Cyberware capacity for each attribute or higher, super. New cyberware slot for hands, dobrze. Cooldown recovery dla cyber adapter. Duration for cyber effects, dobrze. To jest to. Można! Właśnie to zrobiłem. Właśnie można, zresetowałem atrybuty przed chwilą. Aran. Nie wiem, czy zauważyłeś. I teraz już tego przycisku nie mam, ale po wczytaniu tego save'a miałem tutaj przycisk zresetuj atrybuty. Co? No. Znaczy, można to zrobić... Tak, te duże. Po wczytaniu tego save'a z 1.6.3 miałem opcję zrestartowania atrybutów w tej postaci. Mogłem od zera No tak, to właśnie zrobiłem. Aran. Tłumaczę ci. Przed chwilą to zrobiłem na streamie. Zajebiście, no. Znaczy, to jest tylko jednorazowe, nie? Żeby nie było. Ale to ma sens, skoro ci się zmienia cały układ postaci, zmienia się całe drzewko. Sorry, robię naleśniki. Okej. Mamy jeszcze jeden stat point i jeden perk. Tutaj chcieliśmy tak. Więcej health regenu. W ninjutsu mamy tutaj dodatkowo move speeda. W inteligencji tutaj było coś w ogóle, co nas interesuje. Nie, tutaj wszystko jest pod ten. Możemy ewentualnie tego jednego punkta sobie wziąć po to, żeby wziąć sobie car hackera. Nie jest absolutnie potrzebny do niczego. Tutaj mamy Road Warriora, Sandevistan podczas drogi. W Tech Ability mamy Gearheada, więcej Vehicle Health. W Reflexie mamy pod kątem mamy Stand Jocka, dobrze, niech będzie. A w Body mamy Fury Roada. I wydaliśmy wszystkie swoje punkciki, mamy 31 poziom. Jezus Maria, mam 31 poziom w tej grze. Alright.
Hot tip. Thanks, Vic. Now, how might one nab this Wonder update?
From just about every ripper doc in town, actually. So not that much wonder at all, I'm afraid.
Oh, you can hook me up too.
Sure thing. Swing by any time.
No. Teraz track job, dokładnie tak. Track job. Jak się was travelowało? Bo nie pamiętam. Dało się z dowolnego miejsca? Nie dało się z dowolnego miejsca mapy travelować, nie? Trzeba było dojść do fast travel miejsca i stamtąd dopiero można było fast travelować. Tak to szło. Nie lubię tego systemu. Wolę, kiedy mogę fast travelować z każdego miejsca. I tutaj jest gdzieś Wiktor. Gdzie jest Wiktor? Nie, to jest u góry. To będzie koło Wiktora, nie? Tak. Gdyby nie dali resetu, to może to do tego. No, ale dali. Jeden z niewielu modów do Wiedźka, jaki miałem, to ten na Fast Travel, okej. Alright, gdzie ja jestem i czemu nie pokazujesz mi, gdzie jest Wiktor? Ja być że kazałem ci tą robotę śledzić, ale widocznie nie. Alright. Jeszcze niżej. Alright. Klinika Wiktora. Go.
Listen, don't laugh.
Ja jeszcze, Dareczku, do zobaczenia.
Been seeing some weird shit around town. Like murals or something. But I know they're not real.
Okej, to nie był ten dialog.
That kid.
Murale.
Can you...
Nope.
Okej. Ale ja chcę pogadać z nim o czymś innym, tak? Aha, to generalnie odejść i wrócić do niego? Tak. Need to put my implants.
Thinking about swapping some chrome. You got any new toys?
Have a look.
Alright. Face. Mamy Kiroshi Center Optics Tier 4, dobrze. W rękach mamy co? Nie wiem, tyle, dobra, okej. Tutaj mamy Subdermal Armor, spoko. Do tego mamy... Okej. Teraz, który jest lepszy, który jest gorszy? Tier 4. Tutaj brakuje mi czego? Kasy. Tak. Okej, mam Biotic Joints, spoko. I teraz, widzisz, oczy się dużo zmieniło teraz z oczami. Alright. Ja mam Kiroshi Sentry Opticsy, można mieć jeszcze lepsze ewentualnie. Ręce. Brakuje mi hajsu, o Jezus. Monowiresy i tym podobne, dobra, akurat to nie mnie interesuje. Tutaj mamy, mam teraz... Power Weapons, nie interesują mnie Power Weapons. Throw Weapons, Smart Targeting. Ricochet, nie. Alright. I coś się zmieniło, wygląda tak samo. No, jeśli chodzi o Cyberware'a, masz w ogóle capacity swoje, ile może mieć wszczepów, więc nie może, jest inaczej. Te wszczepy się różnią. Nie masz granicę, którą możesz założyć. Teraz nie mam hajsu, żeby tylko kupić więcej wszystkiego. Heal on Kill, Micro Optics, no i mamy Krażnikowa. Mogę założyć jeszcze ewentualnie jakiegoś Sandewistana potem dodatkowo, czy już teraz nie? Reflex Tuner, Stop Time, kiedy Michał spadnie, ale to jest Atomic Sensors. Increase movement speed outside of combat. Okej. Szkielet. Jeśli chodzi o szkielet, mam Biotic Jointsy, które dają mi... I mogę w ogóle upgrade'ować. Tak, to jest w ogóle jeszcze to, nie? Jezus Maria. Teraz tak. Mam do wyboru. Bonus Ricochet, Health, Aim Speed, Chemical Damage, bonus Stealth Damage, Ram Regen. Aha, czyli generalnie chujnia. Z tego wszystkiego chyba to mi najbardziej pasuje. Żeby upgrade'ać do tego 5 potrzebowałbym legendary crafting materiałów. Okej. To teraz tak. Ty jesteś... Aha, mamy to. Dobra, teraz tak. Co ja mogę to jeszcze założyć? Memory boosta. Nie obchodzi nas memory boost. Memory boost. Nie... Bioconductor. Quick hacks. RAM. To jest wszystko pod RAM? Pod ten? Cyberwczepy? I bez sensu. Tutaj, aha, i tak nie mamy hajsu. System operacyjny. Sandevistan. La, dobrze. Teraz sobie mamy... Nie, procent obrażeń, 10% obrażeń, nie, to jest ten, okej. No dobra, ja będę szedł w tego. Miałem jego, to będę miał jego. Upgrade'ujmy go. I na tier 5 już brakuje mi tam rzeczy, okej. Graficznie też widać, lepiej, wiesz co, ja i tak gram na 1070, Peter. Więc ja nie będę patrzył na grafikę, bo to nie ma sensu przy moim komputerze. Wiecie, że mi dalej chodzi. Mm. 6% zdrowia i 0,5 to all damage per attribute point. Aha, ale to inteligencja, okej. Bonus, ricochet, roll, explosion, czekaj. A jak wezmę teraz cancel, będą te same. Ricochet, tak, to są te same, nie? Alright. Mamy blood pump, możemy mieć. Kill kill, macro, ten, okej. Second heart, brakuje mi na second hearta ten, ale dobra. Teraz... Fajne jest to, że ja w poprzednim patchu jeszcze zbudowałem sobie tonę rzeczy, więc... No. Health Driven Explosion, Ricochet Health Item, Aim Seed, Quick Hack, Carrying Capacity, Damage Over Time. Damage Over Time to jest Bleed. Bleed jest częścią mojego builda. Mamy Subdermal Armor 1. Mamy też parę innych. Okej. A tutaj... Czy ja mogę tutaj coś wrócić dodatkowego? Nie. Nanoplating. Counter Shell. Alright. Brzmi dobrze. Tak wiem, robię teraz rzeczy, ale patrzcie, ja teraz ciągle mam... dochodzę dopiero do granicy całego cyber rzeczy, nie? Quick Hack, Health Gun, Item Recharge, Health Gun, Regen, Item Effect, Granite Recharge Speed. Okej. No to. Dobra, mamy 177 znaczy tu jest moja górna granica, a mam tak naprawdę tyle i jeszcze mogę dalej się pakować szczepami, nie? Alright, słuchajcie. Ja chcę wziąć to na testę, tylko muszę znaleźć wyjście z tego od naszego kolegi. Co od niego wychodziło? Tędy się od niego wychodziło. Teraz musimy znaleźć jakiś grupkę ten. Dobra. Upgrade you. Mapa. Cyberpsycho niekoniecznie. Dałbym sobie radę, tylko ja cyberpsycho chcę nie zabijać, nie? To jest tam ten myk, więc... Pokaż mi... Service Points Custom. Reaper Dog Vendor Exploration. Czyli już nie pokazujesz na mapie teraz wszystkich... Nie, pokazujesz, dobra, okej. Tutaj są jakieś na przykład. Strasznie daleko. O, mamy bliżej, mamy tutaj. Musimy tam przebiec. Samochód pod V. Dobrze. Co mamy za wóz? Aha, jakiego archa? Czemu... Zawołałem jakiego archa i się nie pojawia. What the fuck? Alright. Nie ogarniam. Nie, jak chciałem schować, jak jest schowaj broń. Nie chowało broń. Nieważne. A tam mi zostało, Boże. Dlatego go nie pokazuję. No hej. Boże, motorze, czemu się przewróciłeś? A tak, bo myśmy mieli taki wygląd. To nie jest błąd. Ja byłem łysy. Alright. Bo ja teraz chodzę w końcu ubrany. Czekajcie, to może inaczej. Inwentory. Mam ubraną, tak, koszulkę Edgeanersów. Ale jednak nie. To był jakiś błąd. Unequip. To teraz raczej nic nie dają. Nie? Mamy spodnie. One wyglądają tak samo. A, bo nie mogę ich założyć. Nie założyłem ich. Dobra. Ważne jest to. Bardzo dobry motorek, tak jest. Czekaj, bo ja chyba wjechałem w złe miejsce. Oh. What the fuck was that? No, dobre pytanie. Właśnie, nowe radio, nie? Znaczy nowe Grow FM. Jest. Radio z Saszą. Opcja wardrobe w ekwipunku, tak? O Jezus Maria, naprawdę? Jakie wardrobe? Nie ma tak opcji wardrobe tutaj. Albo ja jej nie widzę. Crafting? Spoko, nie? Stats? Whatever. Backpack? Backpack. Cyberware? A będę się tym przejmował później, jak się to wyłącza. Ale chyba wardrobe to muszę wejść do... Będzie outfit. Nie mam opcji outfit. Aha, że tutaj jest outfit? Nie, outfit to jest co innego. To jest ten. Ja nie wiem, czy nie muszę wrócić znowu do swojego domu. Do szafy faktycznie i tam dopiero się mogę przebrać. Ja bym nie był zdziwiony, jakby dokładnie tak to wyglądało. Alright. 100 metrów tam. Jakaś banda chłopa, którą można nabić. So let's do it. Alright. No. Co się działo? Chcę się wyzbicia. Alright, tak. W ogóle jeśli chodzi o inwentory. Equip. No, jest zablokowany gdzieś tam ten. Ale ty teraz... Okej, czyli teraz zbierając rzeczy się... Daje się rzeczy, które się zbiera, daje się przerobić. Alright. A czy Satori da się upgrade'ować? To wejdźmy do craftingu. Teraz tak, moje upgrade'y, moja katana Satori, brakuje nam komponentów legendarnych. Okej, żeby ją upgrade'ować. Okej. Super. Proszę pana. Policjant, okej. Ja biorę motor, a to tak naprawdę jestem blisko. Byłem blisko tego miejsca. Tu po drugiej stronie, dobra. Uhu. Jest tam ktoś jeszcze gdzieś? Widzi go gdzieś? To gdzieś? O! Haker mnie namierza. Jakiś, tak? A muszę iść do góry. W tym parkingu. Więc idźmy do góry, dalej. W ogóle ktoś jest? Tak, tu ktoś jest jeszcze. Wow. No hej. Ui. Najpewniej, bo teraz on tutaj, tak, każe mi tutaj wejść, a jak jestem w środku, każe mi wyjść. Pathfinding się gubi w tym miejscu. Wydaje mi się, że jest tutaj to na piętrze, dokładnie. Tak, teraz pokazuje dobrze. I mamy... X. Right. Mam podnoszone jakieś granaty, Boże jasny. No hej, wygląda jakby był bardzo groźny. Ale to nieprawda. Aha! Finish him! I ten gość nic co nie miał. Because fuck you, that's why. Ej, dobra, bo ja mam podpięte pod konsumable. Blood pumpa, dobra. I granat. Nie chcę mieć granatu, ja potrzebuję tej... Nie mogę mieć tej... Ten? Nie chcę mieć granatu w tym miejscu. Mieć innego konsumabla żywnościowego. Nie potrzebuję granatów. Pathfinder Shedegera, no. Och, well, dobra. Okej. No. Przedmioty, nie? To jakaś brońka. Tutaj pan miał zawieźć ten. Bardzo ładnie. I to jest tyle, nie? Co my tutaj mamy? Okej. Pum, 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 pum. Akemura ma do mnie wiadomość. Ewentualnie. Dobra. Czyli generalnie wychodzi na to, że muszę iść do swojego domku. A mój domek jest kawałek stąd, ale okej, widzę już teraz stąd, że tu mamy fast travela. Biegam w ogóle z kataną po ulicy, nikt się nie zwraca uwagi, nie? Alright, so... Fast travel, afterlife, mega building atrium, tak. Tutaj jest nasz dom, nie? No i niestety, chłopaki, to też nie jest tak, że będziemy grali dzisiaj dużo tego Cyberpunka. Jak się zeskanowało? Tabem, tak? Alright. Yeah, this is in my house. Stash, spoko, ale nie wiem. Jak się teraz włączyło do wardrobe, to tutaj trzeba do szafy podejść, tak? Tak. Okej. I teraz tego panu dziękujemy. Tutaj mamy jakiś ten upper body, możemy założyć to, co chcemy. Spodnie. Może zacznijmy od tego, żeby założyć cokolwiek na razie. Dziękuję. Mamy jakieś fajne spodnie? Nie, to cringe. Tego pana tak, dobra, niech będzie buty jakiekolwiek. Okej. Nie mam ładnych spodni, no to jest smutne. Mogę w krótkich spodenkach biegać. Alright. I do tego koszulka fuck. Czapka zdejmuje mi fryzurę, więc nie chcemy czapki. A jak jest unequip? Nie tak. Jestem na tym i mam... Aha, teraz środkowym, dobra. I teraz to mogę zapisać sobie i bardzo ładnie, dobrze. No może tak będzie, bo mamy tatuaże, mamy na nogach, bo tyle z końcu widać. Right. Siądźmy, obejrzymy sobie telewizję. Czy grasz na PC? Tak. Ziemniaku, ale na PC.
The Night City Office of Cybernetic Technology has been formally dissolved as a result of budget cuts. The office formerly responsible for implant certification will shutter its doors next Tuesday.
Następny kanał, nudy, wiadomości. Do you hate your meat? Body implants. Body implants. No dobra. Dość tego roleplayowania. Fajnie tak sobie siąść w domku. Ale no. Alright. Jeśli chodzi o wiadomości, nic nowego nie dostaliśmy. Tak jest. Były zabawne, że te wiadomości, które dostajemy na nasz komunikator, nie można ich odczytać jako maile na komputerze. To jest absolutnie bzdura według mnie. Tu jest fast travel, nie będziemy biegać w ten sposób, nie? Ja gram na GeForce Now i cały czas graczowanie będzie można grać za kilka godzin. No ja mam na swoim PC, mam 1070 w środku, więc to jest już trochę ziemniak, nie? Ale działa, więc I'm happy with that. Alright. Where do we have some cyber gówno do wycięcia? Tutaj jest trochę tego, nie? Więc no, przykro mi, ale pewnie ogarną to, wiesz, no najgorsze przypadku będzie jutro, wiesz, to jest, podejrzewam, że to jest w momencie wina, czy problem po stronie po stronie GeForce Now bardziej niż CD Projektu, nie? Ja kiedyś ultra Psycho Ray Tracing 100K. Okej, ale mój monitor i tak tego nie wyświetli, więc to trochę też się mija z celem. Alright. On co jej robi? Bo ja nie wiem do końca. Anyways. Alright, tam. Nie tędy, tam. Wiesz, jak mam monitor, który i tak maksymalnie wyświetli mi Full HD i wyświetli... Znaczy, ray tracing wyświetli, okej. That's fine, nie? Ray tracing jak najbardziej na propsie wyświetli mi ray tracing. Ojej. Jeszcze jeden pan tutaj był? Alright. Sorry. Eurogąbki, jej. Dostałem progression, dostałem tylko perk pointa. Alright, bo jeśli chodzi o perk pointy, tutaj władowałem wszystko. Tutaj władowałem wszystko, ale mam dalej do rozwijania jeszcze dodatkowe szybkości, tak, prędkości biegania i tak dalej. Dajcie mi to, ja tutaj sobie powyklikałem. Kulu chcemy mieć na 14, ale nam się nie spieszy. W body chcemy ładować w to, okej. W refleksie będziemy ładować w to też, czyli na razie zacznijmy ładować w refleksie w to. W dasha i w muscle memory. Shoot while sprinting, sliding and vaulting. Nie jest to mi potrzebne w ogóle. Slide dystans większy i climbing speed. Nech. A zdaję sobie sprawę, że tam coś zmieni. FSR w sensie? Masz na myśli FSR od AMD? A, że masz na myśli skalowanie dynamiczne, bo FSR czy DLSS to jest jednak trochę bardziej skomplikowane. No, co ja mogę powiedzieć? No jest jak jest, nie? To jakiś Reaper Dock, tak? Ja nie byłem nigdy u tego Reaper Docka, więc może weźmy tego Reaper Docka. Zobaczmy, co on ma. Jakie fajne upgrade, panie Reaper Docku, masz? System nerwowy. Mamy tak, mamy Krasznikowa, mamy synaptic adaptor i możemy mieć tutaj jeszcze co? Od reflex, tuner refleksowych, okej. Możemy mieć injektor czegoś tam, który zwiększa headshot damage, nie obchodzi nas to. Zwiększa kolejny movement speed zwiększenie. Na Gogu było 50 giga. Co mogę ci powiedzieć, Enigma? Proponuję wyłącz i włącz Goga. Serio. A poza tym u mnie działa. Headshot big spot damage, nie. Movement speed while entering combat. To jest może spoko. Krasznikowa już mamy. Teraz tak, co ja mam? Slow time. To nie jest mi aż tak bardzo potrzebne, bo mam na zawołanie. Tego Krasznikowa mogę ulepszyć jeszcze. Alright. Czyli jakbym chciał z tych rzeczy coś, to jest nie bez sensu. To też jest bez sensu. To też jest bez sensu. To wszystko daje headshot damage. A nie, weak spot też, to jest spoko. Na kulu. Wszystko na kulu, okej. O! To jest spoko. Na refleksie. Teraz tak, melee damage, tak, melee damage 1,7, RAM, explosion damage, dodge, ok. Czyli bierzemy tego pana. Dzień dobry. Yep, dokładnie tak było. Krasznikow, jak użyję Krasznikowa, mogę zmniejszyć headshot damage, mogę recharge speed, headshot damage, crit damage. Damage over time resistance, health item recharge speed, granate recharge speed, aim speed. Reload speed, headshot, multiple weapon handling. Dobra, czyli generalnie najbardziej mi zależy chyba na tym. Udaje mi szansę na krytyka. Znaczy zwiększa krytyka, obrażenia od krytyka. Nie mamy tych wyższego tieru, nie? Legendarnych, to jest inna sprawa. Więc skąd ja teraz mam brać te legendarne, crafting materials? da się je samemu zrobić, czy nie. Decrease enemy vision, bonus stealth damage, quick hack damage, melee damage resistance, half the item effect, headshot multiple damage multiplayer, reload speed, chemical damage. Okej, to się przyda najbardziej. Jak ludzie zwolnią serwery Goga. Może być tak, że to będzie jeszcze bardziej skomplikowane. No dobra, ale teraz w takim wypadku trade. Ja mam tonę jakichś broni, których i tak nie używam. One nie są już legendarkami. Alright. Najważniejsze, ja mogę wpierać to wszystko w pizdu. Ubiór praktycznie. Można cały wpierać w pizdu. Mody do broni. Quick hacki. No junk właśnie. Alright. To jest w ogóle zajebiste, bo poza tym, że rzeczy to są jeszcze są podtunowane pod twoje nie? Może rzućmy okiem na to, czy ja w craftingu mogę craftować. Mogę. Alright. 5 tier components. Mogę zrobić ich 60. Zróbmy ich 60. Teraz mogę wejść tutaj do Reaper Docka. Ten pasek po lewej to jest twój limit wszczepów. Tak, już Alan napisał. Więc nie możesz mieć teraz nie wiadomo ile wszczepów, masz ograniczoną ilość i musisz dobierać jakich chcesz tak naprawdę. Więc teraz na przykład możemy tego pana podnieść. On mi daje, co on mi da na wyższym poziomie? Da mi szansę na krytyka 15% i 15% obrażenia krytyka. Ok. I to kosztuje 22. Te punkciki niech będzie. Nice. Czy mogę Kreżnikowa podnieść też na poziom wyżej? Tak, mogę. I teraz mogę mieć tutaj headshot damage, health gun regen. Aha, to już przechodziliśmy, tak? Nas najbardziej interesuje większe obrażenia od krytyka. Kreżnikow nie jest taki potem cudowny pod tym kątem pozostałych rzeczy, ale daje mi rzeczy i Kreżnikow może iść jeszcze dalej, tak? 5+. Uhu! Więc to mi daje teraz? Dało być więcej? A 5+? Nie wiem. Możemy podnieść też coś, co daje mi obrażenia. O, tutaj na przykład mamy zwiększone obrażenia mele, więc możemy podnieść to na stabera na wyższy poziom. I skończyły mi się te magiczne punkciki. Alright, tego pana nie mogę, bo brakuje mi... Aha, dobra. Wszystko jasne. Cyberpsychoza po przekroczeniu limitu. No byłoby ciekawe, a z drugiej strony tak naprawdę cyberpsychoza jest świetnym motywem. Słuchajcie, cyberpsychoza jest świetnym motywem w cyberpunku ogólnie jako świecie, tak? Ale prawda jest taka, że cyberpsychoza jest tak skonstruowana, że w momencie, w którym masz cyberpsychozę, nie możesz już grać swoją postacią. Bo to jest over, finito. Tracisz kontrolę nad swoją postacią, koniec. Więc w grze wideo cyberpsychoza nie powinna mieć miejsca. Bo może moderzy dodali cyberpsychozę. Wiesz jak wygląda cyberpsychoza? Game over. Tak powinna wyglądać cyberpsychoza. Taka jest prawda. Nie ma opcji, żeby to miało wyglądać inaczej. Teoretycznie to nie, bo wrzucają cię do max stacku. Jest jeden filmik, który to pokazuje. Większość ludzi, którzy dostaje cyberpsychozę, zostaje po prostu odstrzelona na miejscu i tyle. Zanim zabije zbyt dużo ludzi. Na zmienienie jako target. Dokładnie. Zróbmy sobie jeszcze jednego jakiegoś tam... O, tutaj jest palny jeszcze jakiś. Dobiegnijmy sobie do niego. Tą drogą fajnie, że mi się znowu wywalił ten na mapie pathfinding. Dzięki Cyberpunku. O, bez nie ma teraz, masz rację. Już jest. Nie, jak to nie ma obrazu z gry? Chłopie, weź sobie zrestartuj streama. F5 naciśnij. No hej. O, bo jeszcze jeden był. No ja jestem... Chwilę, my gramy na normalu, nie? Settings, poziom trudności... Gameplay... Nie, na hardzie gramy. My gramy na hardzie. I tak wygląda walka z przeciwnikami. Tak. Ej, dobra, to w takim wypadku jak mamy crafting, tak? To... po pierwsze muszę zrobić to, ale żeby zrobić to mam tonę tych gównianych początkowych, tak? One się zamieniają w to, w tier 2 komponenty i mogę zrobić tego 1000, wow. Tier 2 komponentów robimy komponenty tier 3, nie tier 4. Przeskoczyłem poziom tier 3, tak? Komponentów, tak. Z tego robię tier 5. Alright. I tier 5, dzięki temu mamy... Zrobimy sobie ich jakąś tam ograniczoną ilość. 50 niech będzie. Byśmy mieli ten, ale... Nasza katana. Brakuje nam... Aha, brakuje nam... To są inne te. Alright. Tier 5 upgrade components, tier 5 components. Czekaj, do zrobienia tego, do upgrade'u tej broni potrzebujemy, bo w ogóle ona nie jest na najwyższym tierze, nie? Wow. O, inżynier poziom 27. Czekaj. I teraz tak wyglądają skillsy. Alright. I zaraz jak to wygląda? Teraz to trochę jest bardziej rozbudowane. Inżynier, solo, shinobi, netrunner, headhunter. Okej. Czym jest shinobi według was? Gościu, który walczy ten? Mówiłem, że już zaczął na pewno na tę platformę startową oczywiście Dogtown. Mówiłem, że very hard na kolasa easy. Generalnie jeśli chodzi o mapę teraz, to powiem ci tak. Nie wiem. Jest taka sama jak była, wydaje mi się. Poza tym, że... No nie wiem, no. Nie wygląda jakby to coś się zmieniło w jakiś sposób. Wiesz? Czy jest teoretycznie możliwość dostania się tutaj? Bardziej? Może jakoś? Nie wiem. Tak, no to jest chyba tyle, jeśli chodzi o ten... Pacyfika zmieniona. Zmieniona Pacyfika? Naprawdę? I don't know. Tak. Okej. Dobra, słuchajcie, bo ja za 2 godziny prowadzę sesję. Nie mam zbyt wiele zrobionego. Te drogi obok areny nie były tak skomplikowane. Okej. Widocznie w ciągu pół roku dobudowali. Nie pamiętam, przyznam się bez bicia, więc ale to jest tak. Mam do zrobienia rzeczy. Tam. Więc będziemy widzieli się o 20, czyli za 2 godziny. I za 2 godziny prowadzę sesję, więc zapraszam was na 2 godziny na sesję. Ja muszę wyłączyć tego Cyberpunka, bo kurwa nic nie przygotuję do sesji. I każdy chyba rozumie, o co mi chodzi, więc zróbmy sobie save'a. Będziemy grali w Cyberpunka w najbliższym czasie trochę. Bo kurwa, jaki to jest dobry miesiąc dla... Ogólnie ostatnie 2 miesiące, jakie są dobre dla fanów RPGów. Był Baldur Trójka. Baldur Trójka jest super. Wyszedł Starfield, który mi się też bardzo podoba. Wyszedł teraz ten update 2.0 do Cyberpunka. Jest Sea of Stars, który jest naprawdę bardzo dobrą grą. I kurde, ja nie wiem, w co mam włożyć rękę teraz, nie? Więc jestem absolutnie szczęśliwy. Więc no, widzimy się chłopaki i dziewczyny